All right, today we're going to break down a really fundamental shift happening in our digital world. We're talking about a whole new economy, one that actually values the human intelligence behind the data. It's about moving from doing temporary work to having permanent ownership. So let's just dive right in. This quote right here, it just gets to the absolute heart of the problem we've all been living with. For decades, regular people have been doing the really crucial work, labeling, cleaning, and verifying all the data that powers artificial intelligence. But all the value from that work, it's only ever flowed in one direction, straight to the top.
And that's the core conflict we're exploring. The old way was simple. You do a task, you get paid once, and that's it. The corporation, they keep all the lasting value, all the equity. But this new model, it's proposing something completely different. Your work becomes a real, tangible, lasting asset that you own.
Okay, so let's really dig into this old system for a minute, just so we can appreciate what's being replaced. We're talking about the age of the data gig. I mean, just think about it. Millions and millions of people have poured their intelligence into training the AI systems we use every single day. But all that labor was treated like a commodity, a disposable input. You do the job, you get a small payment, and that's the end of the story. The massive permanent equity that was created from your work, well, that all stayed with the companies. Now, let's get to the really exciting part. A completely new model is being built, literally from the ground up, to flip this whole dynamic on its head. And this, right here, is the fundamental difference. The old way was all based on corporate promises. Hey, contribute today and maybe, just maybe, we'll reward you later. The new way, it's not based on promises at all. It's based on pure math. It uses cryptographic systems, think of them like unbreakable digital contracts, to make your ownership and the royalties that come with it a totally self-enforcing, inevitable result of your contribution. So, you're probably asking, how is this even possible? Well, it's all built on a concept called the knowledge layer. This is the core infrastructure, the plumbing, that fundamentally changes the nature of data itself. It's what transforms it from something you just sell once into something you actually own that can generate revenue for you again and again. To make this a little less abstract, let's actually follow a single piece of your work as it moves through this new architecture. Let's see exactly how your intelligence becomes a real asset. It all starts right here with the basic building block of this whole economy, the contribution fingerprint, or CF. So imagine you correctly identify a picture of an appliance knob. The system doesn't just log your answer. No, it generates a signed, cryptographically unique fingerprint for that one specific contribution. This CF is basically the permanent, unchangeable DNA of that piece of knowledge. Now, what's really cool is how this breaks down the life cycle. First, your work gets its own unique fingerprint. Second, your identity and your reputation are permanently bound to that fingerprint. And third, its origin, we call it its lineage, is tracked forever. It doesn't matter where that data goes or what AI model it ends up training. And this is where your personal skill really comes into play. Your reputation for being accurate and trustworthy isn't just some nice-to-have badge. It becomes actual capital. The system lets you signal confidence in your own work, and as you build up a high trust score, your contributions literally become more valuable to developers. That means you get a bigger piece of the pie. And this solves a massive problem. In the old world, once your data went into some giant training pool, its origins were basically lost forever. But here, this traceable lineage means developers can audit exactly where their data came from, and every single piece of knowledge is permanently accountable to the person who created it. It's a huge step forward for digital intellectual property, making ownership totally clear and undeniable. So, we get to the crucial point. We've established ownership. But how does that actually turn into real revenue? How do you get paid? Well, it works through something called usage metering. And you can honestly think of it just like the electricity meter in your house. Every single time an AI model accesses or reads the data you contributed, the system tracks it. And it generates a tiny little billing event. Your fingerprint is out there, being put to work, and the meter is running. And this chart illustrates perfectly where that revenue goes. It's not some kind of black box. A royalty engine automatically and transparently splits the revenue from that usage. The original contributors get their share, the people who helped verify the data get theirs, and even the people who provide liquidity to keep the network running get a piece. The difference in how you get paid is just night and day. Forget about waiting 60 days for a check, only to have a bunch of fees taken out by middlemen. Because this all happens on-chain, On a transparent, shared digital ledger, the revenue can flow continuously directly to you. It's frictionless, and most importantly, it's replayable. For as long as your data is useful, those royalties can just keep coming. Okay, let's get to our final section and see how all these pieces come together to create this massive shift in perspective. A whole new way of thinking about what data actually is. This right here, this is the big idea. For so many years, we've all treated data like a simple commodity, like a bushel of wheat. You sell it once, and it's gone. This new architecture treats data like real estate. You own it, and it can generate an ongoing yield for you, a lot like collecting rent from a property you own. Through what's called tokenized ownership, your little contribution fingerprint effectively becomes a fractional share in a much larger data set. This means you literally own a piece of the collective intelligence that you helped create. And so, if an AI model that was trained on that data becomes valuable, your tiny share starts generating ongoing income for you. And that really is the ultimate takeaway. This isn't just some new payment system. It's a historic reclassification of what it means to contribute your knowledge. It is the shift from just earning a one-time fee for a gig to actually owning a productive asset that's built from your very own intelligence. So we'll just leave you with this final thought. We now have the tools to turn our knowledge and our expertise into lasting, yield-bearing property. The question is no longer just about what you know. Now, if your intelligence can truly build an asset, what will you choose to build?